What's going on, everybody? Today we got ourselves our World Cup predictions. Now, I already did one of these videos back when the draw just came out back in December. So today we got ourselves a more up-to-date one, as well as some changes in there, of course, depending on squads and other things of that nature. But we're going to jump right into it. Not going to waste any time with you guys. We're going to do the group stages on this little simulator here, an Ultra Zone. And then since I can't do the knockout stages on here, we're going to go down and get ourselves just the quick Word document and pop it up and go right through it. So hopefully we can get through this pretty quick. I don't want to waste too much time on it because predictions are never right anyway. But let's jump into it. This first game right here, Russia, Saudi Arabia. I'm actually going to go for a 0-0. Russia, it seems the last two friendlies they played right before the World Cup, one total shot on target. They don't create too much, in Saudi Arabia, I assume, will sit back, especially on opening day. They will just love a point on the opening day to begin with. So I'm going to go with the 0-0. Egypt and Uruguay. This one's tough. I'm not sure Salah will be fit for this one. It'll be obviously a race against time to get him fit and going. But Egypt, if they don't have Salah, they are very sound defensively, but going forward, they may have a little bit of trouble. I like Uruguay to sneak this one 1-0. This next one, Russia and Egypt. I actually think Russia are one of the worst teams in this tournament, and I think, after all that Russia are going to have a hard time getting anything from a lot of these games here. They're going to have 3 games. I don't know if they'll even score a goal. I like Egypt to nick it 1-0. Uruguay, I think this is one of the more straightforward games in the group. I like Uruguay to beat Saudi Arabia 2-0. Saudi Arabia can hold on for a bit. Uruguay will eventually break through, and I actually like that same scoreline in the Russia game. Now, Egypt, Saudi Arabia here. Egypt, at this point, don't need anything. I like them to nick this game here. I think in the end, though, it won't matter too much. I think even if they don't win that game, they're through to the second round. So here we go in the second group here, Morocco and Iran. This one will be close. I mean, Iran are very good defensively. They're gonna cause lots of problems for anybody going forward at them, and I think they nick a point there. Morocco won, Iran won. This one has been building up as the best game of the of the group stages. And normally these Spain-Portugal games are really tight, really close, really rough. I actually think this game is going to end up as a 0-0. Portugal and Morocco this time. I like Portugal to nick this one. Portugal, if we remember properly, in the Euro, when it came to those big games, they were very tight defensively. The group stage was a little bit 3 draws. They drew practically all the way to the final, but Portugal, I think, can nick this one. They're very tight defensively, and we'll see how well they end up doing, but I think they nick this one 1-0. Spain and Iran. Iran will sit back, but I think Spain are built to beat these kinds of teams. I like Spain 2-0. Iran and Portugal. This one, you can call it an upset if you'd like. I like this one to finish 0-0. Iran defensively very sound. Portugal defensively very sound, but going forward, we'll see if Portugal can click in this World Cup. Going forward, it wasn't overly great in their Euro. A lot of 0-0, a lot of 1-0s. We'll see how well they do, but I think they get out of the group anyway after this result. In Spain, I like to beat Morocco 2-1. So Spain top the group, Portugal come second. Into Group C now. France, Australia, Peru, Denmark. This is a very tight group. Peru, a very good team. They just got their goal scorer back after his doping suspension. I think he's in the team anyway. Australia playing very well coming into the tournament. A couple friendly wins. They got a 4-0 over Czech Republic. That's a very good win. And Denmark can score goals. They qualified very well. And this is going to be a very tight group. First game open, though. I like France in this group. I like France in this World Cup in general to have a good World Cup. But I think they beat Australia 2-0 to start. And then the big game of this group for me, Peru and Denmark. Denmark can score. Now, Peru have a very good reputation for keeping scores low. They beat Brazil 1-0. Held Brazil very quiet in their qualifiers there, but I like this game to finish 1-1. Very close game. France, I like to win this one 2-1 against Peru. I think France are the team to beat in this group. 2 wins from the first 2, I think, will settle them on top of the group eventually. But France to beat Peru 2-1 will be very, very close. Denmark, I'd like to beat Australia 3-1. This Denmark team can really, really score. And I think in the end, it'll get them over the line against Australia. And we'll see how far they go into this tournament. Denmark as well, playing a game against France in the next one here. I like France just to nick this one, a very close game. France can keep it tight when they have to, and I think they can keep Denmark a little bit tighter than Peru can, mainly because France, I believe, have more of an advantage than Peru does going forward. So we'll see how out Denmark come. Australia and Peru, I don't think Australia are going to leave this tournament without a point. I like them to get a point against Peru here in the last game. And that'll be France on top and Denmark comes second in Group C. Off to Group D. We've got Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. This is a very interesting group. Iceland can keep it low scoring. They can keep it very tight. And we'll see how tight they can keep it in these games. But I like Argentina to nick it 2-0. In the first game. Croatia and Nigeria. I like Croatia here. Something about Nigeria, they're always got good players, they're always very quick, but they're never really organized, and it normally comes back to haunt them in a lot of these games. And they were, as I watched the England game the other day, they were awful against England in that first half, and if they play like that, they're not going to get any points from this group if they play like that, but we'll see. Argentina, Croatia, I like this game to finish 1-1. Croatia, I think, can have a really good tournament, but Argentina kind of iffy coming into the tournament. They didn't get their last friendly against Israel. They had a tough time qualifying, only qualified on the last day, so we'll see how well they come in, how well they do in this tournament. I think the window may have come and gone in the last World Cup, but we will see. Nigeria and Iceland, I like this game to finish level 1-1. Nigeria, once again, we're talking about, we'll see if they can pick up. They're good players there, but I don't know, just the organization against an organized Iceland squad. I think they can this game can go really either way. Iceland can win it, finish 1-1, it can finish level, or Nigeria can win in a very tough game. Now here I like Nigeria to lose, but just by a little bit. They always play Argentina well. They haven't won any of the last meetings in the World Cup here, but they always play well. It's always a very open game. Hopefully we get another open game here, but Nigeria just to lose it late. Argentina to nick it 3-2. And then here, Croatia. I like to beat Iceland. They're very organized, Croatia. And I think they can break down this Iceland defense. So Croatia to finish top of the group on goal difference. We're into the next one. This group, to me, with the winner, is very straightforward. It's the rest of the group that's really tight. Costa Rica coming into the... coming into this tournament with a couple of losses right before in friendlies. We'll see how well they can do. They had a very good World Cup last time out, as everyone remembers, into the final 8. But we'll see how well they do. Serbia coming in and playing really well. I think Serbia win their first game 1-0. And then Brazil, I think, are the easy winners in this group. And I think their quality is way above everyone else's in here. I like Brazil to beat Switzerland 3-0. And I also like them to beat Costa Rica 3-0. I think a lot of teams will be very wary of coming against them, and Brazil can definitely break through as well. So we'll see how teams play against Brazil. Serbia and Switzerland, I think these teams are relatively close. I like this game to finish 1-1. But I think Serbia can definitely nick it. It's a very, very tight game, that one. And I think the winner of that game goes on and wins second place here. Serbia to play Brazil. I like Brazil once again, but Brazil will be already through and qualified pretty much at that point. I think they'll win it in the end 2-1 over Serbia. And Switzerland, Costa Rica, a very tight game. Switzerland will be coming, but I think that means with the 5 at the back and the heavy wing backs, I think Costa Rica can nick themselves a goal. I like that game to finish 1-1, and Serbia and Brazil through to the next stage. In the in Group F, not the final. Germany, Mexico, Sweden, and Korea. It's a very, very interesting group. Teams from all over the place here. But it's very interesting. Mexico coming into this tournament very strangely. Not too many wins. They were just beaten pretty easily 2-0 by Denmark the other day. They had that weird party fiasco thing. They're not coming into this tournament in a very good place, and we'll see how well they do. Sweden to play the Korea Republic here. I like Sweden just a little bit. Sweden playing well is... they're very difficult to beat. As you see, they beat Italy to get into this tournament. They're very difficult to beat, very difficult to score on, and they beat France in their warm-ups or in their qualifying round to get here. They didn't beat France to the top of the group. They did beat them head-to-head, though. Once, lost head-to-head once. Both games finished 2-1. They're a very tough team to beat. Germany will play Sweden eventually there. Second game of the group, but I like Germany to win. I think this is a good group for Germany. I think the rest of the group, though, is relatively tight. Korea and Mexico. Korea, Heung-min Sung, he's very good there. They play very good football. It's just, I'm not sure if there's enough for any of these teams to go ahead and grab themselves a win in the second game. I like 1-1. Korea, I don't know if they can match up to Germany. I like Korea to lose that game 3-1. And Mexico, Sweden, to me, winner goes through. But in the end, since Sweden got that win in the first one, I like this game to finish 1-1 and Sweden get through. Germany winning the group. Now we are off into Group G. Belgium, Panama, Tunisia, and England. This is a pretty, I don't know, I wouldn't say tight. I think it's relatively tight. We'll just go through it this way. I like Belgium here. Panama are a nice story getting to this World Cup. I'm not sure they're going to grab anything out of it, though. Tunisia, England. This game can be very, very tight. Do not underestimate how good this Tunisia side is. But I think England are going to have a decent World Cup. I think they're going to start off well. I think they beat Tunisia 2-1. Now Belgium get Tunisia. I think Belgium are the better team. Another 2-1. Tunisia coming close once again, but not close enough. And then unfortunately, we're here again with Panama. I think England win this game 2-0. And then England play Belgium in a game that really won't matter at that point. I think Belgium nick it 2-1. And then Panama and Tunisia. I like Tunisia to come out on top, get themselves a win before the World Cup ends. Now we are off into Group H. We'll take a look. This is a very interesting group. Colombia, Senegal, Poland, Japan, 4 different continents here, 4 very different styles of play. And here we go. We'll go Poland, Senegal. Senegal, I really want to like Senegal. I think they're the most organized team in the African nations. I think they're going to have a decent, I think they could have had a decent tournament. They can have a decent tournament, but this is a very tough group for them. I like Poland to win this one. Poland are a very good team, and they've got a deadly striker up front. If Robert Lewandowski is firing, then Poland are going to have a pretty good tournament. We'll see which Lewandowski shows up. He's been having an odd year as of late, but we'll see if he shows up for Poland. Colombia and Japan, this game ended up being 4-1 last time around. They played in the last World Cup in the group stage. James Rodriguez with a lovely goal, and he gave them Colombia a 4-1 win. I like 3-1 this time around. Japan and Senegal, I'm not too into this Japan side at the moment. Wow, 23-1, that'd be something else, wouldn't it? I like Japan to win, or Senegal to beat Japan 2-1 in this one. I'm just not too high on Japan coming this World Cup. Poland and Colombia, I think this is a very tough game to pick. I think they end up just nicking it. Colombia, there's more experience here on this stage, and I think while Poland's a good team, I like Colombia to nick it here. And then Japan to play Poland again. I like Poland once again. I'm just not high on this Japan team. And then here I like Colombia just to nick by Senegal. I wish Senegal were in a different group. I think they would have had a better World Cup than I've predicted them to have, but that would be it. So here we go. We've got the knockout stages are set. Uruguay, Portugal, France, Argentina, Brazil, Sweden, Belgium, Poland, England, Colombia, Serbia, Germany, Denmark, Croatia, Egypt, and Spain. And we're going to hop off this website and go over to our Word document, and it won't be as nice as the app here, but it won't let me go into the knockout stage. So here we go. We'll jump into it, and we'll just go quickly through our knockout stage. Okay, so Portugal will play Uruguay in the first round of 16 game. I think this game is going to be relatively tight. I like this to finish 1-1, and then we're off to penalties, and we'll see who wins on penalties. To me, Portugal through on penalties. They've, especially lately, had themselves a bunch of penalties. They've done penalties a couple times in the last couple of years. Done very well, and they normally are pretty good with penalties. I think they sneak by Uruguay on penalties in the Portugal through on penalties. Excuse me. Now Spain and Egypt. I'd like Spain here. 2-0. I think once again Egypt to sit back and play counter-attacking, but I think Spain are normally good against those types of teams that sit back and play. Maybe not so much the really high-quality teams with some of the high-quality attackers. I know Mohamed Salah's in there, excuse me, but I'm not so sure the rest of the team is good enough to fill that void like the Netherlands did a couple years back when they ripped Spain apart on the counterattack. We'll see. I think counterattacking way is the way to go, but I'm not sure Egypt have the quality. Spain to win 2-0. France and Argentina, this is probably the tie of the round here. It'll definitely be a very good game, a very tight game, but I like France here to beat Argentina. I'm just not sure about this Argentina team going forward. I'm not sure how well they're gonna play in this World Cup. It's a South American team in a European continent. I know Germany bucked that trend recently. We still need a South American team to go ahead and play well, win the World Cup here. We'll see, but I'm not so sure Argentina can beat this French team. I think this French team are on a mission, and we'll see what happens, but I like France to win 2-0 there. This, I think, will be the most entertaining game of the round of 16. That might be the best game, France and Argentina. I think this one will be the most entertaining one. Two sides that can score. Denmark especially, they're very good going forward. Croatia, the great midfield, got a couple of good players up front. I like Croatia here to win this game 3-2. A high scoring game. Denmark just miss out, but this Denmark team, watch out, this team can score, and they're going to be very dangerous in this World Cup. Brazil, Sweden, I think Brazil have had a decent, or in the easiest spot up to this point, and I think they have one of the easier games in this round of 16. I like Sweden. I just don't think they can match up to the quality of Brazil. It'll be very tight. Sweden will have to come and score goals. I'm not so sure they can. 3-0 to Brazil. Germany and Serbia. A couple World Cups ago, I think this was a tight game. I think it finished 1-0. Germany are a good squad, but I'm not so sure Serbia can match up. Typical 1-0 for Germany here. They score, keep it tight. I like this one to finish 1-0. Serbia give it a good run, but I'm not so sure they get by Germany here. Belgium to play Poland. This is a pretty interesting game here. Belgium underachieved the last couple times around, or maybe haven't achieved to where they wanted to achieve. Either way, it's a very difficult squad to assess. Normally, I mean, I didn't like the manager last time around. They got Martinez this time around. We'll see if he can get them in line, and if he can, very dangerous. Plenty of good players all over the place. I like Belgium here to there we go, to beat Poland 2-1, just nick it in the end. England, Colombia, I think this game will be very, very close. Two good teams, I think. Wow. 1-1 here. I think this one goes to penalties, and I think England end up ahead of Colombia just on penalties. They've got some good penalty takers nowadays. Normally not very good on penalties. I'm picking them to buck that trend this time around. This game can go either way. It can really either way, however you want to go with it. It can definitely go that way. I just think it goes through on penalties. England through to the final 8. Portugal and France. France will be definitely looking to win back, get some revenge on this Portugal team that beat France in the Euro. 1-0 after extra time, that Eder goal that took them through to the trophy. I think France this time around, though, have that little extra oomph in them, and I think they have that. They want to play for it just a little bit more. They'll definitely be out there up for this game. I like France to sneak by Portugal 1-0. Spain, Croatia. Now this one's a neat little game here. Croatia had beaten Spain in the Euro very recently, and then other than that, their tournament was kind of iffy. Croatia, they got a great midfield. As we said, we got a good, decent set of wingers there as well. It's very difficult to fit everybody in. That's how good the squad is. Best team in a long time for Croatia, and I think that actually pays off here. And I think Spain don't fully rebound from their, embarrassment at the last World Cup where they went out in the group stage. I don't think they make the Final Four. I like Croatia here to beat Spain once again 2-1, and into the semifinal they go. Brazil-Belgium, I think this will be a neat little game. It'll be a good game. If Belgium have it clicking, this will be very tight. I'm just not so sure they can get it clicking enough to beat this Brazil team. Brazil look very, very good as of late. They'll be wanting to push on from their last World Cup. That just wasn't good enough, of course, after that semifinal defeat, and then they came in fourth in the end. I think they're going to be really pushing and very difficult to beat. I like Brazil to beat Belgium 2-1 here. Germany to play England. It's very very familiar with each other, these two squads. Always a decent game. It would have been probably a better game last time around when the 4-1. It would have been 2-2. It might have been a different game. It might have been a tighter game. In the end, Germany ran out winners 4-1. I like them to come out winners this time around too. I'm not so sure this England team can break down a such a disciplined squad and get through to the semifinal for the first time in a long while. France and Brazil here. This is probably the game I would look most forward to if this were to play out. It'd probably be this game right here. France and Brazil, two squads that are ripe with young talent and playing it very well going in. Two of the favorites here. I like France to just sneak by this Brazil team. I like the defensively. I think France are good enough to hold Brazil at bay. Brazil sometimes at the back they're a little bit frail, and sometimes when their heads get down they kind of let it go just a little bit. I like France to just sneak by in this game and put Brazil into the third place game once again against the loser of this game here. But France into the final. Germany and Croatia. This will be a pretty neat game. Two teams that can play through the midfield. Two teams that can control the ball if need be. I just think Germany with a little bit more experience just to sneak by this Croatia team. Croatia with their best run in a long time. End up in the third place game and in the semifinal, but a very good run nonetheless. Now we got France and Germany here. We're going to pick the third place game though. I didn't actually write it out, but we'll do it this way. Croatia and Brazil. I'm not so sure. We're not going to go into it this game that much, but we'll go with Croatia to beat Brazil, or Brazil to beat Croatia 3-1. Same score line as last time in Brazil when they played in the World Cup. And that game, it was a lot tighter than it was. A different goalkeeper, I think, that game, in Croatia are very tight. He got a hand to the penalty, should have saved it. The last goal he should have saved, and Neymar's scuff shot just rolled into the corner very luckily. He went down a little bit early for me. Maybe a different goalkeeper in that game would have turned out way different. But Croatia lose to Brazil this time around. I think Brazil are another level at the moment. They both improved, but I think Brazil, I'm not so sure, can be held at bay by this Croatian team. 3-1 Brazil. Now France and Germany, the World Cup final. Two of the favorites, of course. I have Germany here based on who they play. I'm just not overly high on Germany. They're very disciplined, of course. They play good football. I like France here to win this game 2-0. France were my favorite to win the World Cup. I think they're gonna win the World Cup. There's something about this Germany team. They beat Saudi Arabia 2-1 the other day. It was their first win in 6. Going forward, they don't look overly fantastic. In this, I think they had a decent group there to get out of. Germany, I think they can beat Croatia. Croatia are a good bet to get to the final. I think this is a tight game here. Germany and England, I think they can beat England. And Serbia is the team they played here. I think by the luck of the draw, they get really, really far here. I'm just not overly high on this German team, and I'm finding it very difficult to pick them to win this World Cup, and that's not all of the reasons why I've gone with France, but that's one of the main reasons. I like France to win this game 2-0. France, young stars mixed with some good talent at the back. They're very sound, good players back there. The center back pairing is very, very good Veron Titty. Those are some good center backs back there. The midfield is very good. Conte sitting in front of the back four. The front couple, Griezmann, Mbappe. There's just so many players on this team that can hurt you, and so many players at the back as well that can keep you at bay. I just think France, overall, the best team. Or I think they're going to have the best tournament, at least, in France to win this World Cup. 2-0 in the end. A European team once again in the continent, winning themselves a World Cup. I like France here, 2-0. And I hope you folks have enjoyed my predictions. If you don't agree, just let me know in the comments. I know I'm gonna get dislikes. I know I'm gonna get likes. I'm not worried about that. Just let me know how you guys feel in the comments. Let me know how you guys think the last 4, 8, or 16 are gonna go, or anything you feel different. Just let me know in the comments. We'll have a discussion about it. Don't be a pain in the ass down there. You're an idiot for picking this, and this. They're just predictions, guys. Don't get overly worked up. But anyway, I hope you folks have enjoyed the video. Look out for some of my other videos coming out later on. But that is it for now. Peace!